All right, this is Joshua Schaff, and it's late at night here in Las Vegas, Nevada, and I'm making this video as a reply to a question that was posted inside of a private Facebook group where the question was, if you could ask Tony Robbins any question or sit down with him, what would you ask? And this is my video for that. And I'm going to preface this with, you're probably not going to like the questions. And you may not like the answers that these questions bring. But that is what I'm here to do. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to bring balance to the world. I don't have all of the answers, but I know the key step that will get us to the playing field and that will give us the solutions. And there's a timer set. And Tony knows this very well. He talked to Ray Dalio. Ray Dalio broke it down for him with the death super cycle, which has a lifespan of somewhere between 80 and 100 years, and we're coming to that point where there is going to be massive social, economic, and geopolitical changes, and he hasn't, in my opinion, quite spoken the whole truth. And my question for him is, are you ignorant or are you complicit? It seems like you're cherry picking time frames and all within the construct of this thing we call currency, the U.S. dollar system, or the global fiat currency system. And my question is, do you understand? Do you understand debt? Do you understand that the point of origin, the point of creation of debt, when someone swipes their credit card, or when someone signs a loan, a mortgage, or any other loan, they are creating currency right there, but there's never enough currency in circulation. So there is built-in scarcity, which can lead to fear and puts people into a lower negative vibration where they can't even think clearly. The fear factor comes in, and their brain actually neurologically changes. You know this stuff. Do you understand that that we could have a potentially deflationary implosion where asset prices drop close to zero, where currency and circulation actually ceases to exist? I mean, technically it's possible. We're not going to get there, because if we get close to that, there's going to be massive social, political pressure to revamp the system or reinsert massive amounts of currency into circulation. Or people will just exit the system looking for other stores of value in which they can transact goods and services. But if you understand that currency is debt and that there's built-in scarcity, that the interest still hasn't been existed, that if you paused everybody in the world and took a calculation of what everybody owed, that there wouldn't be enough. There's just not that much currency in circulation. It's musical chairs. It's a psych game on humanity. So, are you aware of this? Do you realize that it's the biggest Ponzi scheme that there has ever been? That there needs to be more people entering the system, mortgaging away assets and mortgaging away future income. That unless there's more and more people doing it, there's massive contraction. And you know that the majority of the people in the world are going to be affected by it. And what you have tried to do through your food initiative is going to be a drop in the bucket. I mean, and do you realize what a deflationary implosion of asset prices could do for the people who are listening to you from your book? You become a cheerleader for Wall Street and for buying these dips, and we both agree that there's going to be some sort of a correction soon. But you're telling people to buy into it. You know what's going to happen to the creative elements of the world, who you've earned their trust. You've given them massive, amazing insights and wisdom and structures to help get them to where they want and to live happier lives. But you could single-handedly destroy the wealth of the creative elements of our world by being a cheerleader in a deflationary implosion. And if that doesn't make sense to you, if that doesn't give you pause to say, this is worth looking into, then I don't know what to say, man. Are you a wolf in sheep's clothing? I need some clarity on that, and talk about the incentives of having value come in through direct, identifiable sources with no accountability and transparency. I mean, where are the men? Where are the men who will stand up and fight for their families? Where are the women, the Amazonian queens and warriors who will stand up for their people? Where are the people who have risen above the scarcity, above the fear, and found a place of creativity? Where are the ones who are willing to turn around and help all the other majority of the world reach where they are? We could start from having people from ground zero, where it's not negative, it's at least neutral or slightly positive. And I've been thinking about this my whole life. I was born into a new religious movement, a cult, and I've seen all of this, and I've been looking at what could change the world, and I've found the way to bring it to the world. And part of it might be this, calling out people or asking them to clarify their positions and take a stand after they've looked at it without any prejudice or cognitive dissonance that they might have. And that's what I've done. I've created my world. I broke through emotional, spiritual, educational, financial boundaries and created the world that I wanted. Where are the rest of you? I need to get in touch with you. I can give you that little extra thing that could just, boost your impact in the world and change it for generations. And I'm telling you, if you look at history, and you ask Ray Dalio about this, what happens at the end of those super cycles, I tell you what happened. There's moves towards freedom, or there's moves towards dictatorships and crackdowns. I don't want to see this across the world. And my barrier for success is so low too, because as long as there is one city, as long as there's one county, as long as there's one state, one country that lives in freedom, that doesn't allow for structures that have these massive incentives and the ability to use violence behind them to restrain people, to take away their freedom, to institute their exchange. I don't say value for value exchange, I say exchange, where they will take more than they're giving and incentivize other people to join them and fight for it. Where are the people who are willing to stand up against that, to help the other masses? What if I showed you a better way, or a way to increase your impact? Would that be worth it to you? But would that be worth potentially having to retract some stuff, to look at the information and be honest? Anyway,